Welcome to the Fixing Football podcast for the start of our Season 2 journey. Yes, Season 2. If you're new, congratulations, you found the greatest podcast in the game and your new favourite conversation. And if you're an existing listener, then thank you for staying with us, and just know that we're constantly looking to improve and take the chat to the next level in all aspects. You're going to notice a few cosmetic changes, so let us know what you think, and please don't forget to like and subscribe on whichever platform you're on. We've seen our numbers slowly improving, and we want to keep improving as well, so please do get in touch. Just for the new listeners, my name is Martin. I'm an Arsenal fan from Bolton. Yes, I know, I've heard it all before. Here with me to fix the game, the beautiful game that we all love, are two people who are slightly less touchy than Aston Villa fans of current. It is lifelong Bolton Wanderers fan Liam O'Meara, and my brother from the same mother but as a weird choice in football club, it's Chelsea fan Scott Naylor. Boys, welcome. Liam, I'm going to start with you. How are you doing, mate?
Very well. I also would like to, I wouldn't say existing listener, I would like our only existing listener, I'd like to say welcome back for Series 2. I'm very well, Martin. Very well. How are you? Yes,
I'm all good. So, we haven't really had a break. Season 2. We're just going to call it Season 2 because the Euros is over and we're all fucking... I've had this week where I thought I was done with football for a bit. I thought now was the start of my summer holidays, but I've started seeing some transfer stuff happening, and just the news about everything. I mean, it's been super Man United heavy, really, but we'll get on to that. Scott, how are you doing, mate?
I'm very well. I'm very excited for the new season. I'm not like you. I was sort of got in this space of, football's over, I can turn it off for a bit, but I think it doesn't take very long away from football. You start jonesing for the net thing. And I'm Googling when pre-season starts for Chelsea. I'm like, how many days can I stay up till 3 a.m. to watch us play some fucking idiots in Seattle somewhere?
I know. I was like that. And then Arsenal playing at 3:30 on Thursday morning against Bournemouth in LA. And I thought, yeah, I'll be up for that. I was going to...
All the way to LA to play fucking Bournemouth.
Well, I can beat you on that, boys. I can beat you. Tomorrow night, which will be Tuesday night, will be Bolton's third pre-season game. And in 2 weekends' time, the season starts.
Is it that soon?
That is mad. So, that's what I was going to ask, actually. It's one of my questions, Bolton Wanderers. Want to get straight into it? Oh, you've got Chorley tomorrow night, haven't you? So, when this goes out, Bolton v Chorley, the big one.
It is the annual Chorley game. I won't be going this year, unfortunately, due to work commitments.
A friend of mine is, for all his sins, a Wigan fan, but Wigan played Chorley at their ground last weekend, and he said like the atmosphere is great, because there's no segregation. Everyone was just like mixing home and away fans, and he said it was like really good atmosphere. It was like 2,000 there.
Yeah, well, non-league football is good. I mean, the thing is with Chorley, it's slightly bigger than your normal non-league. It's a relatively big non-league side, so it's a really good side for teams like Bolton, Wigan, Blackburn. They'll generally all play Chorley every year. It's really good for Chorley as well, because they'll essentially get a few thousand in for a pre-season game. But they get about 3,000 a week anyway, in terms of attendances, so they don't do too bad with people going down. I do like my non-league football as well. I go watching Everton Collieries generally if I go watching non-league. It's a good day out. It's a different way of watching football, because obviously you've got a beer in your hand and food, and you can just chat and actually enjoy it.
You can stand up without being shouted at.
Yeah, without dread of the football's gonna ruin the day or anything like that. You can just sort of. I mean, you can take the dog to Everton as well. That's nice. Yeah,
that's good. There's no sitting in painful virtual waiting rooms praying to get tickets like it is for every other fucking club.
Just decide if you want to turn around in the car park, you can. So all season 1 of our journey, I think, as a podcast as a whole, and of course we're missing Luke tonight, our Man United expert, but as a whole, we would support Bolton Wanderers just to will them on. But I'm starting to think we might go with Chorley this year, another local team. We have connections. I'm sure we've all been, or we've all beat. It's very close to our area anyway.
Rhiannon West's 18th birthday party was there, if I remember rightly.
Was it really? Yeah. Scott, we have a connection to Chorley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I used to play.
do.
I used to play with one of the sort of most heralded talents, Danny Mills. Not the Danny Mills who played right back for England. The Danny Mills was a big signing for Charlie back in the day, and then I played with him at St Mary's for a while. Good guy, but we have a link. Do you know what our link is to the current Charlie squad, Scott?
So, to the current Charlie squad? No,
Yeah.
I have a clue.
So
Who do we know?
their centre back, Mark Ellis,
Yeah.
is married to a lovely woman who used to babysit us,
Oh,
Joanne.
really? Oh, is it really? No
Yeah,
way. That's the most random thing.
I know. So yeah,
Oh, well. It's a
hopefully
recent
Mark's
wedding.
listening.
Do we need to congratulate them? Or is
No,
it
no,
too late?
they've been married. Yeah.
So we missed that boat then. Apologies. Congrats
Yeah.
anyway.
Martin, can I just ask how old this babysitter is? Because you're in your mid-30s, so like...
She was in like, I don't know, she's maybe about 8 or 9 years older than us. Something like that.
Right.
Do you know, like...
Yeah, because I was in primary school when that was a thing.
Really,
So-
her mum was our like childminder, and then randomly her and sister would babysit us.
Yeah.
Because you're too young to be left on your own and stuff. So, anyway, moving on before that gets any cruder than it needs to be. I can see the wheels in Liam's mind just whirling away like he's trying to hold something back.
No.
Keep it out of the gutter. we might have some new listeners who don't know us just yet. Right,
It was all
Liam.
completely above board.
Let's start with Bolton. So, like, say you're on your third. This is about to be your third preseason match. Been out to, was it Portugal? They went out to.
Yeah, the pre-season training camp in Portugal for a week. Believe it was nice. You don't really hear a lot. It's not like Premier League was absolute content creation kings for when they were on a pre-season trip.
It's like hourly vlogs at Arsenal. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like our stateside gunners. Like, they're like, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it'll been hot, so that'll have been good. And they've come back and they had a behind closed doors game, I think against West Brom. Which
It's Middlesbrough.
That was the second one.
Oh, sorry.
That was at Bishop Auckland, a game against Middlesbrough, in which they lost 3-0. But at 60 odd minutes, when the first teams are on it, I believe it was still 0-0 and quite an even game. So I can't tell you how we're playing because I've not seen us yet. I will be going on Friday when we've got Fiorentina at home for a pre-season friendly.
How mad's that?
Yeah, so we go from Chorley to Fiorentina. So, yeah, there we are. So, and then we've got 2 more games. I think one against Port Vale and then one against Stoke. So all the glamour ties.
And then the big
kickoff.
And then the big kickoff is against who and when?
I think Lincoln. I should have potentially prepped for prop. I know the first home game's Wrexham. I'm pretty sure it's Lincoln. Let me just scratch my brain and really try and remember whilst I'm absolutely not researching it at all.
I'll try and edit out these clicks and keyboard clackers.
Yeah, I can't see. I'm going to say it's Lincoln anyway because every team
I
plays
think you're right.
In our division anyway. So yeah, the big kickoff. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not very confident this year yet, to be completely honest.
I was looking at the odds the other day, and Bolton are current second favourites for automatic promotion, behind Birmingham. But the summer window, from an outsider's point of view, and you'll know better than me and be able to give it a bit of colour, but has been uninspiring. Would you agree?
They're missing targets. They're not signing players that they want to sign. So
why is that? Money.
I think Ian Everett talked today that they had a bit of a shift in their policy. So a lot of the time we were dealing in frees and loan signings, whereas now to try and genuinely improve, we're having to try and buy players because we wanted to buy premium essentially, and that has brought more challenges because clubs are not wanting to sell early in the window. They want to get their own replacements. So there may be a bit of a domino effect later in the window with some of the signings that we're going after. But I think Devante Cole turned us down today or yesterday in terms of a backup striker option. Although, to be honest, I think he'd give Dion Charles a run for his money. That would have been a good signing. A player we're really strongly linked to is John McAtee.
Did he used to be at City? Is that him? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Brother.
Sorry, right.
He was at a different club.
Yeah.
He was on loan last year at Barnsley. I think he's
okay.
I think at Swansea now, officially. Who knows? He was at Barnsley last year and he's very good for Barnsley last year. That would be a good signing, but you're right, man. It's been underwhelming. And when you see some of the signings that particularly Birmingham making, I think they've made a £6 million bid for Jay Stansfield today, not to be confused with Lisa Stansfield, very different families.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was Lisa Stansfield, yeah.
Yeah, it's not Lisa Stansfield. It really sort of makes you worry about this season. Last season, I said Bolton were very much in the mix and going for those top two spaces. I can't see Birmingham being anywhere near anyone. They might as well just start. I don't know why they even relegate them. They might as well start in the Championship. Just save everyone time. It's going to be tough.
Who else? Let's stay on League One for a minute. Who else is going to be up there? I think there's probably going to be a lot of talk about Wrexham. They'll be getting, headlines, and rightly so. 2 promotions in 2 seasons. Who else is there to be on the lookout for? And what are just give us your overall thoughts about where Bolton are at the moment.
I think Bolton, it's hard to say because I think once you get rid of Birmingham, then it's a little bit more competitive, I think. So I think you've got Huddersfield who've come down. They have made some good signings as well. Rotherham with Steve Evans back there made a lot of signings early doors, so they'll be competitive. Barnsley will still be good. Stockport as well. A lot of people pointing at Wrexham, but Stockport were very strong as well last year.
Yeah.
I think Wrexham...
Scott's second team that now, isn't it?
Yeah, Scott's second team. I think it might be a year early for Wrexham. It might be a year early for Wrexham, but I think they'll do some damage. But I think it might be a year early for them. Yeah, there's going to be some good sides up there. And then you've got your other ones that are things are Peterborough are still going to be good. So I think Bolton, the bookies will have us second, and I don't think that's the right reflection.
Yeah. Just a big name.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be playoffs again. But the truth is, we could have a very different team by the end of the window.
Right. Last thing to wrap up on Bolton, and we'll cover this more in depth in a later episode, I think. But is it going to be too early to see any benefits of the new TV deal that was done with, was it CBS, I think? Or it was someone, it's like they're doing a streaming thing.
Yeah.
But they've bought all the EFL rights, haven't they?
I don't know if it'll be too early to see the benefits, but it
might be Paramount, I think. Whichever one it is.
Insert US megacom company here.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a benefit to the club in terms of what they can spend, but everyone has that benefit. So it's not actually a benefit. You may, I don't know. You may see us spend a little bit more than we're going to, but we'd only be competing. It'll just end up in players' wages, that money. That's the kind of money. It doesn't, because everyone gets it, it just ends up in wages. Bolton need to go up this season. It's going to be harder, but they cannot not go up this season.
I agree. So fingers crossed. There's plenty surrounding, that league and everything going on. Let's get to some real headline makers at the moment, and that's Scott's lot. Them mad fuckers in blue down there.
Yeah.
Chelsea. So let's start on the positives, if there is any that you could think of. But what are your overriding thoughts around Chelsea at the moment? And then we can pick it apart a bit.
Yeah, so it's hard because I really want to be positive about having a new manager, and a new manager who seemingly, for better or worse, actually has some sort of tactical preferences and a system that he likes to play in. And I think even now some of the players have already said of how much work they're doing with the ball versus how much fitness work they were doing under Pochettino. So I would like to be excited about that, but I just don't know enough. I've not seen enough of him to really understand if it's worth getting excited over. And you see little dimps on Chelsea's Twitter, sort of, they see like a 5-minute clip that we post to our social media channels, and you see him interacting with players and getting involved in the sessions, and people saying, "Oh, we've finally got a proper tactician." Oh, it's like we don't fucking know anything. Like 2-minute clip that is clearly the best of what the training session was. Otherwise, we wouldn't have posted it.
Scott,
So go on.
Obviously, if Maresca is a success, how easily you could slip into like a lookalike type of role and try and get some work off the back of that. A bit like when Vardy was at Leicester.
Could. I'd have to trim my beard down though, and that's a bit of a non. I'm not really doing that. To sort of be a real Enzo Maresca lookalike or body double, I'd have to have a shave, and I don't really want to do that. And I'm too good looking anyway to be in, so it wouldn't really be believable. But yeah, I mean, one thing that I am excited for is a lot of the players who we didn't get to see a lot of last year and how they fit in. Because I don't feel like you're going to see like a big mega marquee signing. I think that the directors think that Maresca is the big deal that they needed to do this year. I think they believe that a lot of the players in that squad are already good enough to achieve at least some of what they want to achieve. Because a lot of the deals that you've seen, like Dewsbury Hall's the biggest name that we've brought in. And other deals that we've done are sort of to either, again, with an eye on the future, like Estevao William, Messinho, as they call him. He's
the centre back that you bought, was it Tolson?
Tolson, yeah, he came in on a free. Again, I don't think it's a bad bit of business. He's Premier League experience. He's big, he's strong, he's tall. He looks like he can pass the ball quite well. Again, he played for Fulham. He played for Fulham. I didn't see loads of him, admittedly, but he seemed to be attracting quite a lot of interest around the league when his contract was up. And the fact that he was confident enough to not accept a new deal and just bet on himself tells me that he was getting a lot of attention. So they look decent, but I think that they already think that the pieces are there.
But yeah, what I wanted to pick up on was you mentioned about that all the pieces are there for what they're aiming for. What is that? Is it top 4 now? Is that the realistic goal for this side?
I think it has to be. I think when you look at under a manager who had no clue what to do with the players that he had other than make them run and get them into shape, I think in the calendar year, if you took the calendar year, we were 4th and we came 6th. And we could have had the odd result gone our way. We could have made the top 4 fairly easily. So I think on the balance of, if you're then saying, okay, we're going to keep those same players, improve the coaching around them, and add a few supporting pieces, and maybe the odd thing that we're missing, I don't think there's anything but Champions League that you can go for. I think anything less is a bit of a failure. And you do have the likes of Nkunku to play a full season, hopefully Wesley Fofana, hopefully Reece James. That's it's a giant if. I mean, Fofana's even more crocked than Reece James is. But I genuinely think had he not suffered the injuries he'd suffered, we'd be looking at one of the top centre halves in the Premier League. I think he's that good.
Lavia as well.
Yeah.
What do you think you're missing though, Scott?
I think we're missing a goalkeeper, or I don't think the keepers that we've got are really good enough for a top 6 side. I think Robert Sanchez is okay, and I think Petrovic is okay. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're good enough to consistently save you enough points to get you into the top 4. So I think a goalkeeper's big.
Still got Kepa back now, haven't you?
Fucking hell. I hope not. Apparently Real Madrid really like him. Fucking go figure on that one. But they're keen, if their backup leaves, they're keen on bringing Kepa back, apparently. And we've been linked with I think it's Andre Lunin, I think his name is. We've been linked with him
we were linked with him, and then we were linked with him, and then I think the day after he had that stinker in the Euros for Ukraine. So
yeah,
I'm happy to swerve that one if you want it.
Yeah, I think a goalkeeper. We are linked with a couple, but none that are that inspiring. I think if you are going to go big on any position, the goalkeeper maybe is one of them to do it. I wouldn't mind a backup. I wouldn't mind us getting rid of Chilwell. And Cucurella, clearly after his Euros, has to be the starting left back for us. So I think somebody to deputise for Cucurella if we can get Chilwell at the door. And kind of think that's it. I wouldn't mind another wide player, but realistically, you've got to shift out Sterling, which is not going to happen on his wages. And the only other options that we want, we don't seem to be willing to stretch. Like with Nico Williams, we've apparently done a lot of groundwork for him. And the Euros that he's just had has made him even more expensive. But the deal for him, I think his release clause is relatively low for someone of his talent. I think it's for 45-ish million.
I think it's in the 50s, early 50s.
I think I was hearing though that he's more likely to hang around than go for a transfer this season.
It's his weight
for one more season.
Because Bilbao, they pay very, very well to keep their players around. So if you want him, it's more these contracts than the actual fee itself. And I think Barcelona, if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be Barcelona. And I think like you said, I think he's fairly happy to stick around if he doesn't get the move that he wants. So I don't know if we can convince him. But yeah, I think we're missing a lot to make us a Man City caliber side. But I think we've got to be realistic about the model that we're working to. We're only going to bring in a certain kind of play and hope that they hit good later. So yeah, it is true. And we have got some big players that we have a lot of plans for due to join next year. So Estevao's coming next year and Kendry Paez will be joining next year. And they're like ridiculously highly thought of, not just in Chelsea. I think scouts around the world have, earmarked them as sort of two of the big stars for the future. So on one hand, a lot to look forward to. On the other, it's somewhat hard to get excited when you're dealing with so many unknown entities.
Right. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. I don't want to get too bogged down in the weeds and get anyone in trouble here, but we've got to address the Enzo situation.
Yeah.
With Chelsea. I mean, first of all, if anyone's not seen it, just Google Enzo Chelsea, and I'm sure you'll work out what's going on. But
it's been everywhere.
He's not covered himself in glory. No. I think Argentina on the whole aren't doing themselves any favours at the moment after that Copa America win. Liam, what did you make of Chelsea's statement? I'll start with you as a non-fan, and then we'll want Scott's opinion about how Chelsea have reacted now right at the moment.
I think Chelsea's reaction was in a hope that it would go away quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not going to. I think the best way of judging Chelsea's reaction is the reaction of fellow Chelsea players who, as Rory Jennings will point out, were all instantly unfollowing Enzo as soon as all this was happening.
That's going to be the big kicker in it at the moment. Yeah,
that is it. I mean, you can downplay that all you want, but it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it really is.
I agree.
And I don't really know how this plays out now because there's a lot of things that make this difficult. Go
on, hold on.
Yeah,
Scott, what did you think of how Chelsea addressed? I mean, could they have maybe appeared stronger, or do you think they've approached it the right way from the business side at the moment? Really, they've not swayed in either way, have they? With their statement.
I mean, they have. I don't think that's particular. The statement says, I guess it's somewhat whatever any lawyer would tell any club to say in the situation, which is find all forms of racism and discriminatory behaviour completely unacceptable. We're proud to be a diverse club. Appreciate players' public apology, and we'll start an investigation. I don't really know what else you can say without really backing yourself into a corner that you probably don't need to do at that stage, or is legally advisable to do. If you come out too strongly against the player, again, you're backing yourself into a corner either way. And I don't really realistically think there's anything much more Chelsea could have said in that moment. I like that they did address it pretty quickly on the back of it. I don't know if it was in the hope it would go away. I'm not sure I agree with that because I'm sure they know that social media lives forever and everything, and they still have players on holiday, players not. There's still a big fucking face off to have because Enzo Fernandez is still away on holiday after the Copa America, and a lot of the players in question who are doing the unfollowing are clearly going to have issue with this are currently with the squad for the preseason tour. So there's still a lot to resolve. But yeah, that's my thoughts on, I guess, our statement. I think we did as much as we can realistically be expected to do in the circumstances.
So what does the future hold? First of all, how do you hope it resolves itself? But what do you actually think is going to happen?
I think what will happen, I think what should happen, and this is what I think will play out, I think there's going to be some sort of mediation involved because they're going to be teammates regardless. No one's getting sold. No one's getting pushed out the club. I can't see a world where that happens, particularly with the money involved, particularly in Enzo Fernandez and how much has been invested into him. Even Wesley Fofana, he was 70 million. He's barely kicked a ball.
Yeah.
So no one's going anywhere. I think that's the first thing that I think is going to happen. I think somebody needs to mediate. Somebody needs to bring these two groups together. And he says it says that he's apologized to his teammates. We don't know how that's happened, how that's been taken. For all anybody knows, he's hashed it out on a phone call, and it's okay. I'm not saying that's likely. I think that's pretty unlikely. But there's apparently been contact, and apologies have been made, and this, that, and the other. I think there's going to be some mediation. I think it's a big one. It's going to be the first thing for Enzo Maresca to get involved with. Maybe a representative, like one of the. I think we work a lot with Paul Canaville. He's does a lot of our community work around like racism and discrimination and the Kick It Out campaigns. I can see him being brought in as some sort of mediator to, help try and bridge the gap and bring them together because they've got to work together at the end of the day. And whether they can do so harmoniously is another question altogether. It could be a big spanner in the works for our season, to be quite honest. So that's what I think will happen. I think it will get resolved. Whether they're all busy mates afterwards is another story. But yeah, I do think cooler heads will eventually prevail, but I don't think it's going to be a straightforward process to get there.
Yeah, maybe Enzo not being around it will help that, like you say, cooler heads will prevail.
Probably.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's one of them. It really reminds me of like it's less on the nose, but it's like when Suarez went through his stuff. Was like referring to it as it's common talk in my language where I'm from.
Which
clearly doesn't translate the same.
It may well be, and I do think there's some sort of like.
Well, no,
there's clearly a cultural thing here.
That is
come on, mate.
Song. That's a learned song with loads of lyrics, which
no,
you know the meaning. You know the meaning.
No, you're missing my. No, but you're missing my point in that. I'm not saying that it's right, but I think in their culture, they may not view it as serious as another culture may view it, is what I mean. I'm not excusing it, and I don't think it's right, but I'm saying that there's clearly something, because, and again, to sort of elaborate on my point about Chelsea, I am very surprised that we're the only club to have talked about this, because let's call a spade a spade. It's on Enzo Fernandez's Instagram account. He is right, and rightly so, going to take full fucking brunt of the criticism, and he should, because he's been a fucking idiot and he's done something really, really, really naive and really.
But I know where you're going. This,
really
but like, yeah, he's not the only one there. It's not like everyone else is a free agent on that page. Yeah. There's a lot of clubs who need to be involved and be speaking up a little bit more than what they have been doing.
I've heard it said, and it was true on other, not as good podcasts as Fixing Football, but it's true. The crime isn't the recording and the posting. The crime is the singing of the song. And it weren't just him doing it. And most of the Argentina squad were on that bus. Whether you want to say who was in the video, who wasn't, they were all there and they were all at it. So
you only have to go on Twitter today to look at Enzo Fernandez being paraded around the River Plate Stadium to see another 60,000 people singing it with him. So
Well, he wasn't singing
I
it there, was he?
don't see
He
him.
wasn't,
No,
he wasn't leading the fucking chorus of
sing it
River
at him
Plate
then.
fan. But this is what I was saying about the culture thing. It's clearly a thing in that culture. I'm not saying it's right, but it's clearly a thing in that culture that rather than the
Yep.
Argentina fans going, Enzo, you were a scumbag for doing that, they just started singing the song again. So there's clearly something deeper rooted. I'm not saying he's excusing it, but things need to be brought together.
Right. Well, that ties that one up nicely. Liam, let's talk probably the busiest club of the summer. I know our expert isn't here, but we need to mention Man United. Erik Ten Hag's been busy. He's got some new mates.
He's been very chatty, hasn't he?
Very chatty. He's got some new mates with him. A new team around him.
Yeah, his team.
And some new signings.
Yeah, some more Dutch signings that have nothing to do with Ten Hag.
I was just about to say he has no involvement in these.
Yeah, he didn't
rivals.
He said didn't even know who Joshua Zirkzee is. Was what he said. That's how little he has to do. He's very much a man protecting his image now. Ten Hag. I think he almost wanted to be sacked, to be completely honest. With the energy I'm getting from him is I'm surprised I'm still here. This is just more for me to be blamed for.
The energy I'm getting is this is a man who knows that he's walking a bit of a tightrope, especially in these first 2 months of the season. I think as long as he can get through that, he'll probably see out the rest of the season. But he's going to have to get off to a good start because I think it could turn sour really quickly. You can't deny the backing he's had. They've had, the Xerxes one, he was being shipped around a lot. I think he nearly joined Milan. I thought that was tied up, to be honest. But he's ended up at United. The Lenny Yoro one's interesting because he was being touted by all the big clubs.
Yeah, everyone wanted Yoro. That's a real we joked with Luke in the group regarding some of the finances of that, and they may have gone above and beyond in quite a few different ways, but they have landed a player that everyone wanted there.
Yeah,
it's true.
So, what do you make of all the moves at Man United then? Let's not mock Ten Hag for the moment, but are they moving in the right direction?
Well, by laying off all the ticketing staff and people who clean toilets, they've managed to find some money to make some super signings this summer. I think they are. They've essentially done what they wanted to do. They've got that backroom stuff in place, which everyone in the world was saying they needed to do, and they've got proven talent in those areas. They finally got hold of the mythical Dan Ashworth. He's finally in there making things happen. So they have made good signings. It looks like De Ligt potentially is going to be happening as well. So yeah, these are very good signings. A very young team they're building there. They're going to be one of the youngest squads, I believe, in the league next season.
That's interesting. I'm still keen to see who goes out from Man United though as well, because they're trying to ship Scott, who do they need to get shut off? Really, there's still a few bad smells hanging around.
Yeah, I personally have been a little bit underwhelmed by Man United. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a United / Port County fan, more County than United, but he does follow Man United quite closely. And he was saying, I've been super impressed with all these new guys. They're in getting shit done. And he seemed to be more focused on the fact that decisions were being made where previously none were ever being made at all. But I don't know. I think they've got rid of some problem players already. Like Greenwood was a massive headache they needed to get rid of, and they've managed to find. He's not in the eyes of the British probably, but he's rehabbed his reputation in the football world enough for somebody to make a permanent move for him. So that was a headache that they're now rid of. Donny van de Beek, he went for £500,000, which is possibly the worst bit of transfer business I've ever seen. That's worse than 60 million for this Euro guy. Because in today's market, you're not telling me you couldn't have even at least broke $1 million. I know Van der Beek's shit. I'm not saying he's worth it, but you're not telling me in this market 500k is all you could get. So he's gone. That's good. Martial's gone as well. don't really know of anyone else who they could do to get rid of Maguire, but again, his wages are astronomical.
Maguire, McTominay, Sancho, Wan-Bissaka are all on their way towards the exit, as far as if your other podcasts and news outlets are led to believe. Maguire being probably the furthest away from the door, but he's heading that way. They're looking like to get a good bit of money for Wan-Bissaka. PSG are looking at Sancho, which might suit him.
Sancho had been. I thought they sort of ironed it all out now. Do you think that was to maybe drive up his price a bit?
I think he's not worth much being sat on the bench getting changed in a cupboard. He's if it looks like everything's rosy, it's probably best for both worlds. As soon as an offer comes in that is slightly desirable, they'll probably take it, despite all the rumours of the things being patched up. So Man United, they're currently, I think they're about 6th favourites to reach top 4, behind Chelsea and Newcastle.
Behind Newcastle? That surprises me.
Yeah, because they're shocking.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the bookies expecting Newcastle to be doing stuff. I think things aren't super secure with Bruno Guimaraes yet, but we'll see.
I think Bruno will be persuaded to stay. Let's put it that way. I don't think anyone like that will be leaving Newcastle. They have just changed their backroom as well, haven't they? Obviously, Stavely.
Oh, they've had to,
and, I can't remember the fella's name. Both left, and Paul Mitchell, Ranić's right-hand man, Mr. Red Bull, has gone in there, hasn't it? To be the overlord of the Newcastle Death Star. So we'll see how that goes.
I think Newcastle are just waiting for someone to take the reins off and let them just go mad with this unbelievable wealth that they've got. I think they're just hanging around in the background. But we'll see. Shall we talk about Arsenal for a few minutes and get out of here?
No.
Go on then.
That doesn't make for good podcasting, Liam.
Martin, I will ask the questions when it comes to Arsenal.
That was the prompt.
So, Arsenal. Is this the year, Martin?
Yes.
Why?
No, I did say that last season and the season before.
But, yes,
but
you
this
did.
But this is the season.
That's how I mean it.
Why is this the season, Martin?
I would like to say because we're even better, we're more experienced, but realistically, I think it's because Man City will be even weaker. I'm praying that the deal for Edison gets out of the way and they're done, and De Bruyne can join him out in Saudi. Now, regardless of who they bring in, they're not getting a better midfielder than Kevin De Bruyne in.
No, but I do think Ortega's better than Edison. I'm
yeah, right, and that's fine. I mean, one of us is right, and that's me, and one of us is wrong, and that's you. But like, Edison has been a class act for since he stepped foot in the Premier League. He's been amazing, and they are significantly weaker without him. In my eyes, if you want to look at it as a squad point of view, then it is what it is. But yeah, I just think City will be weaker this season, and that's my only hope. It looks like the Calafiori deal will be getting done, who was the impressive centre back for Bologna and Italy in the Euros, who can play. He played a lot at left back last season.
He's traditionally left back now, isn't he? But
yeah, I think he's like. I don't want to compare him to Maldini, but that's the position he'll play as like left centre back, left back. I mean, Maldini in my eyes was always a centre back, but when you look back through his career, he played a lot. He played a lot at left back, so that's the role that he seems to be taking up of. If we get someone who's anything close to that, I'll be very happy. Italians aren't notorious for doing well in the Premier League, so
it's a weird deal that though. I don't really get why you're doing it. I get he had a good Euros. I think there's a bit of Euro goggles on. But I don't know where he's going.
I'm hoping that it isn't Euro goggles, and that Bologna were very good last season. You see that Xerxes got his move, and I think Calafiori is the next sort of jewel in the crown after him for that team last season. So
yeah, I'm not gonna pretend that I think, but I watch
No.
more Italian football than I do any other league. I think just 'cause it's on Sky and a lot and
Yeah.
BT a lot. And Calafiori, I knew about. Like, he
Yeah.
was someone who'd done really well. Like,
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about him, but our defence is absolutely stacked. So I would like to see a striker come in. I think that's the next thing we're working on. I think we're also working on getting people out the door. It's looking like we're taking on bids for Reece Nelson and Nketiah and Emil Smith-Rowe. I'll be gutted if Smith-Rowe goes, but I mean, it is what it is when we're trying to improve. So
why? Why would you be gutted?
To
because
borrow a term
it's
from
not.
Julian, he is toilet. He's
He
absolute
is
toilet.
It's the idea of Smith Rowe.
No.
The idea of the aura of Smith Rowe is greater than Smith Rowe himself. Like, they seem to think they've got this like absolute starlet in their academy when
Yeah, he's
like,
shite.
there's
He
so
isn't
many
shite.
players that you've got that are better than him.
He's poor.
Yes.
He's average. Come
No,
on.
he isn't average. He will be a very good player in the Premier League, as will Reece Nelson and Nketiah. I just don't think they are
Just think,
players who
right?
are going to win us the Premier League. And
You
it's-
rejecting Chelsea's bid for Smith Rowe last summer meant that they've now got Cole Palmer. Because Smith Rowe was the main target, wasn't he? He's the one they wanted first.
I'd have fucking killed myself if we'd have signed Smith Rowe. He's fucking shite. Absolutely awful. Thank God for
Smith Rowe
that.
starts for Chelsea ahead of Raheem Sterling 1,000,000% of the time.
You're on.
You find me a person who disagrees with that. It's not even close.
I don't know what kind of freaky vape you've got in your hand there, but there's definitely some hallucinogens in there. If you think Raheem Sterling gets benched for a Smith Rowe, you are high.
I've seen
high live on the air.
I've seen Madueke start in front of Sterling, and that's how crap Sterling is. Madueke is absolute dog shit.
Nah, Madueke is all right.
But listen, no, hold on. Going off anyway, I think we will win the league because Man City will be worse, and we will be as good as we were last season. Because they've got the losing two of the best players, hopefully.
Well, they're probably losing one. I'm pretty sure the De Bruyne thing's been debunked by Fraud Brizio.
Fraud Brizio. He knows nothing. Until he comes on this podcast, he's a fraud.
It doesn't seem like it's been emphatically debunked, though, does it?
No.
He said it's not.
Yeah, it's been debunked as far as no one's told him yet. It seems like everyone else, just because no.
It's not like everyone's saying, well, no, probably not. It feels like there's something there. Whether it be this year or next year, maybe. I get the feeling he wants it, I think. That's the feeling.
I do. I agree.
But I'm wondering whether City are like, no. Not yet.
I mean, there is
rather lose him on a free at this rate. They've got the money's worth out of him. There's no real need to try and squeeze some money out of him and get one more year while they try and find somebody who could even dare to step into his boots.
Losing him for free means paying him. He's on 450 grand a week. Losing him for free means you're paying him that as well. You might as well try and get. Yeah. Listen, we'll talk about Man City and their money issues another time. Otherwise, for Arsenal, yeah, I'm confident and I'm happy with our current setup. So hopefully there isn't too much more change going on. I'd just like to see a striker come in, us balancing the squad a little bit after that, and then let's see where that takes us. Hopefully we get some, a good rub in terms of injuries, and I'd like to see a full season of Jesus because of him looking sharp. I'm hopeful that there's still a good player in there for us, but we will see. Liam, is there anything else we need to touch on this week as we get started into season 2?
No, not this week. I think as we go on, we'll start getting into some of the topics. I think this year we've got the Club World Cup officially starting in America next summer.
What are some topics that we can be looking at, and then what people can be looking forward to? What have you got on your mind?
I think the fact that we've already had a transfer window end already at the end of June, I think needs to discuss this. Some of these sneaky transfers that went through. Why Newcastle all of a sudden have 5 senior goalkeepers on the books. I think we need to start getting stuck into this really.
PSR window.
James Trafford apparently still want James.
It's
Trafford.
like mythical 30th of June deadline. It's weird because I see it talked about a lot and then nothing. I got told that Chelsea had to sell like 100 million quid worth of players by 30th of June and nothing happened. I don't know where it comes
Todd
from.
Bowley bought the hotel. They were fine.
Don't you worry about that. Creative accounting.
Exactly. That's why. Yes, we have a lot of topics coming up. Thank you everyone for listening. We will be back next week. You can find all the information to any podcast at www.fixingfootballpodcast.com, where you can find all the links to our social media. You'll find a nice little blue tick next to our Twitter account now, or X. So that means we are legit and official. Despite what Aston Villa fans want to say, we're cool.
It doesn't make us blue tick wankers. We didn't pay for it. It's official. Elon has personally given us that tick.
Yeah, he did call. He did call and have the discussion with us.
We didn't pay for it, unless you listened to last week's episode where Liam said that we did pay for it. So this guy flip-flops more than a pair of flip-flops.
See.
Was that a week ago? It feels like longer.
It was last week, yeah. The end of season 1. You don't have to wait as long, like Game of Thrones around here.
You say like, "Oh, I'll see you next year," when you think you're funny on New Year's Eve.
Sounds like you. Right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you soon. Do not forget to like and subscribe. If you don't subscribe and you're listening, because over half of the people who listen to this aren't subscribed, if you're one of them people, just know that I secretly hate you.
If you are that person.
Yeah, fuck you.
Bye, everyone. Peace.
In a bit.